Good morning everyone. In the chain of my lectures on terpenoids, this is my third lecture. In my previous lecture, I had discussed about the determination of the structure of terpenoids. In the continuation of my previous lecture, today I'll discuss physical aids to terpenoids. Now, among the physical aids to terpenoid, first we take the UV spectroscopy. Recent trends for establishing the presence of conjugation is by the use of UV spectroscopy, and we have lambda values for basic chromophores and we increment for various substituents according to the Woodward-Fieser rule, as we have studied in the previous classes. Here there is a quick recap of what is Woodward-Fieser rule. In this table, I have shown the basic chromophore and the increment in nanometers in the value of lambda. For example, the acyclic and heteroannular dienes. What are heteroannular dienes? In which the conjugated double bonds are present in different rings. So, the value for basic chromophore is 214 nanometer. For homoannular dienes, the value is 253. What are homoannular dienes? In which the conjugated double bonds are present in the same ring. And now we have increments for various substituents. For example, for each double bond which extends the conjugation, we increment a value of 30 nanometer, and for each exocyclic double bond there is increment of 5 nanometer, and for each C substituent there is increment of 5 nanometer, and we do the total of basic value and the substituent or increments, and then we get the lambda max for the compound. And next is among the physical aids is the use of IR spectroscopy. The use of IR spectroscopy is essentially complementary to that of UV spectroscopy. That means we get more information from UV spectroscopy, and then in the by the combination of these two spectroscopy, that is UV and IR, we get useful informations regarding the structure of terpenoids. Among the important uses are the detection of functional groups at specific frequencies. For example, detection of OH group, detection of carbonyl, which is saturated group, and alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl group, alpha beta ketones, etc. As we can see in this table. Here the region of frequencies of the absorption maximum in centimeter inverse are shown for different functional groups. Now next we come to the use of NMR spectroscopy in structure determination. NMR spectroscopy has been used for various purposes. For example, to detect and identify double bonds, to determine the nature of N groups, the number of rings present, to ascertain the orientation of methyl groups, and we can see as we study the structure of individual terpenoids, in certain cases even a definite structure is assigned to the molecule. For example, in case of the terpenoid centonine. Now we come to the mass spectrometry. Mass spectrometry is now being increasingly used as a means of elucidation of structure of terpenoids. It has been used for determining, as we know, the use of mass spectrometry, we can determine the molecular weights, molecular formula, and nature of functional groups, the relative position of the double bonds. Next is the optical rotation methods. They have been used successfully for the elucidation of the structure of terpenoids, and ORD studies have been used to assign absolute configurations to the molecule. Lastly, among the physical aids, the X-ray studies have been used to solve the structural and stereochemical problems directly, and it is expected that in future it will prove even more useful, and the structure of some particular terpenoids have been established by X-ray analysis, but it is yet to be confirmed by the chemical methods. Next we come to the degradation. It is the most important step in determining the structure of terpenoids. After knowing the various functional groups and the number of rings present in the terpenoid, it is degraded into smaller fragments and which have identifiable structures. As might be expected, the oxidative methods play a more important role in determining structure, although there are various reagents to affect the oxidative degradation. For example, ozone, acidic, neutral or alkaline camphor, chromic acid, sodium hypobromite, nitric acid, lead tetraacetate and peracetate, etc. However, the ozone is the most important, and it is observed that in no other field ozone is used to such an extent. So we take one by one different oxidizing agents which are used to degrade the terpenoid molecule. First is ozone. The reagent attacks the olefinic linkage of the molecule, or it forms the ozonide, which may be decomposed either by hydrolysis or by catalytic reduction or reduction with zinc dust into the corresponding carbonyl compound. As we can see in this reaction, first the molecule under consideration is attacked by ozone. We get a ozonide, which is then reduced or hydrolyzed to give corresponding carbonyl compounds. The next oxidizing agent which we use more frequently are hydroxylating reagents. A group of reagents such as lead tetraacetate in hot acetic acid, peracetes, osmium tetroxide, hydrogen peroxide and potassium permanganate have been used to attack the terpenoids, and the double bonds either present in the molecule or they may be introduced by the use of NBS are hydroxylated and we get 1,2-glycols. As we can see in this reaction, the double bond is attacked by the hydroxylating agents and we get 1,2-glycols, which are further cleaved by the lead tetraacetate in acetic acid to give corresponding carbonyl compounds. Now we come to the next oxidizing agent, that is sodium hypohalides. Sodium hypohalides constitute the haloform reaction which we have studied earlier in BSc etc. classes. So haloform reaction is characteristic. We know it consists in eliminating one carbon atom from the group COCH3 to form haloform molecule along with the acid. As it is shown in this reaction, we get bromoform and acid. So the one carbon atom is removed from the structure. And last oxidizing agent which is most frequently used is nitric acid. So when we use nitric acid as oxidizing agent, it is one of the vigorous oxidizing agents and it cleaves the terpenoid molecule into smaller fragments, mainly aliphatic and aromatic acids. So this was all about the discussion of various steps in the structure determination of terpenoids, and finally once we establish the structure of terpenoid molecule, its structure is finally confirmed by its synthesis. So this was all about the general steps which are being followed in the determination of the structure of the terpenoid. Thank you. Have a nice day.